Hey, everybody. I want to welcome you to Business Insights with Matt Milley. And I'm super excited because this week I've got a superstar on here that's going to show you exactly how you can maintain the highest level of revenue, but also not just maintain a high level of revenue, but also keep your profitability, all while giving back and doing good in the world. But before we get too deep into that, I'm going to go in here and cue our intro. Welcome to Business Insights with Matt Milley. I'm your host, Matt Milley, and in this podcast, we'll talk about the real, raw, uncut business success secrets you won't find anywhere else. Follow my journey from entry level to CEO. We discuss real actionable items you can plug into your business right away. To subscribe to our weekly top tips, you can go to www.mattspodcast.com and join our community of elite high-level performers. And if you're interested in our inside sales company, you can go to www.appointmentstoday.com to jump on a free strategy call. And now, stay tuned for our podcast. All right. Hey, Andrew, how's it going?
Doing well, thanks. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. And first and foremost, thanks for jumping on. And
thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And I'm excited. And we're going to talk also a little offline here after this because with what you're doing, and it's funny because I had this light bulb moment. I'm thinking, wow, there's actually a lot of things I could plug into what I do currently with your business. But before we go too deep into that, tell everybody a little bit about what is Givz?
Sure.
Givz.
Yeah, Givz. And we can, if we have time at the end, we can talk about how you get a Givz.com, a 4-letter domain. And that was just lucky, but funny story. But yes, so from my end on the Givz side of things, thanks again for having me. Excited to be here.
Of course.
We see two huge trends happening across the board. And we have e-commerce as like the tip of the spear as we're starting down this path, but we've already expanded into B2B businesses, financial institutions. A restaurant here in New York is utilizing donation incentives. But across the board, we see two huge trends. First is that brands in general want to get away from discounting. And I'd love to hear from you, Matt, how you've experienced this, because it sounds like you've got real world experience with this. But what we see is not only is it, of course, like a hit to revenue up top, which all ultimately falls down to the bottom line, but it also has a lot of different longer term effects. And so the people that are brought in via discounts are almost always the lowest lifetime value customers, the biggest headache customers. And not only that, once you start to offer these discounts a year from now, 2 years from now, in order to keep driving sales, you keep giving the discounts. That people are starting to refer to it almost as a discount drug. You need to keep driving the sales. You need to keep doing the discounts in order to show the growth that you want to show, whether that's for investors or for yourself. And at the end of the day, it starts to cheapen your brand. And people, it's all about value and perceived value. And so when somebody thinks that they can get something, they say, all right, this item costs $100, but we're going to give it to you for $50. Sometimes people are like, that's a great deal. But more often than not, people are like, you know what, this product probably is only worth $50, to be honest. Right. And so That's a big problem longer term when you try to make their $100 product really is $50. Their $200 product's probably only $75. These guys, there's a trust factor that starts to get lost the more you start to consistently and deeply discount. And so that's something that we can chat about, but that's trend one.
Yeah, it's and so to piggyback on that, it's a race to the bottom.
Totally.
When you're and I've learned the hard way over the years because I'll give you a real life story. We were absolutely killing it pre-pandemic. 2019 was, arguably our best year ever. We've been in business now for a little over 7 years. And I will say that in 2019, we were just like, we were printing money practically. It was so different.
It was clicking on all cylinders.
Yeah. And everybody was happy. They loved the product. They loved the service. Well, what happened in 2020 was, March hit and everyone's like, oh man, I got to pull back. I can't, because we have an inside sales and marketing and lead gen company. So a lot of these guys were pulling back thinking, oh no, I can't keep dumping in because it's real estate. Some of these, so for example, a lot of our clients were in California. a
Yeah.
lot of those guys were deemed as non-essential,
Right.
so they couldn't even go, and like literally they were almost operating operating in the dark, where they're like driving secretly to a house to sign a listing agreement, and they're like, oh, I got to do everything online. They were doing a lot of Zoom stuff. I mean, just because they could not go and do
Yeah.
the bare minimum to keep
Yeah.
themselves going. So for us, what I did is I said, well, hey, you know what? I still want to keep clients. I still want to get people on. So listen, I'll cut my services down by like 40%, 30%. I'm like, I'll cut down the price. Don't worry, I got you. I'll cut down the price. Well, the problem was when I wanted to re-raise the prices back to what they were,
No,
they
no
wanted to
chance.
renegotiate with me and say, well, no, we want it lower because, things are tough now and
Yeah.
there's a pandemic. And I'm just like, ah.
Tough.
So lessons learned. And now what I do, and this is actually, I think this is going to give massive value to everybody on this. I just increase the value. So normally we'd be like, hey, I've told people, hey, we're doing 3,000 touch points a month. So meaning 3,000 phone calls and
Sure.
or text messages. Well, hey, listen, if you sign up today, I'll give you an extra 1,000 a month.
Love
Still
that.
maintaining my profitability,
Love it.
but not giving away everything. And obviously for them, they're like, wait, you're going to give me another 1,000 touch points. So you're literally going to increase what your output is by 25%, 33%. Mathematics just escaped me there. But you're going to increase that? Oh my God, that's amazing. Where do I sign? So the discount thing is the quick race to the bottom. And that,
It's real. It's real. And it's
so
across industries. It's yours. It's direct to consumer products. It's across the board.
how do you fix that? I mean, so how does Givz fix that? Is there a way to fix that? Like what value does Givz offer so that you
Yeah.
don't have to have that race to the bottom to discount your stuff?
Yeah, well, there's and so exactly what you just said, providing more value, right? And so if
Yeah.
you can actually provide more value in the way that you did, I think that's extremely effective. I think layering that in on a D2C product, right? You could think of that as kind of a gift with purchase. So you
Right.
buy, you buy this item and whatever low margin like low cost item to ship that you can like put in there with the higher cost item and higher margin item that they're actually paying for, and so you're improving the value that the customer is getting. I like that idea, and Givz is a similar take on that, except now we're offering donation incentives. So the second big trend that
Ah.
we didn't talk about here is that consumers are demanding some sort of purpose-driven activity from the brands they are interacting with and the brands they are purchasing from. If you're a brand and you are trying to get a consumer to take an action, whether that's buy something, whether that's, rent this apartment or do whatever it is that you're trying to get somebody to do, they want to know that they're interacting with somebody or a brand that shares their values. They don't want to buy from somebody who doesn't care about the same things that they care about. Problem is everybody cares about different things. So that's the big trend number two. And companies are trying to figure out like, how do I say, okay, yeah, Matt, we care about what you care about. And Andrew, we care about what you care about. Even though Matt and Andrew care about two different things, it's hard to do that and be genuine and authentic about it. And so Givz steps in and allows you to run these donation-based incentives. So donation incentives are new. 10 years ago, they may not have worked. 5 years ago, they may not have even worked. But now people are super passionate about something, almost guaranteed, right? Something gets them. And so now it's like, hey, if you care about literally anything, we're going to give you extra value by saying, you're still going to pay full price. Our stuff, our $100 item costs $100. We're not discounting that. But
Right.
when you buy from us right now, we care about you so much. We are value you as a customer so much that we're going to give you $20 to give to any charity that you want. And this is much different than a $20 discount, right? Because consumer psychology behavior is like, hey, like I'm paying $100 for this $100 item. It's a high quality item. I didn't pay $80 for it. I paid $100 for it. This
Right.
brand is now so cool that they gave me $20. They didn't ask me to round up my change. They didn't ask me to add an extra dollar to my, to my purchase after I've already spent $100 at this place. They didn't ask me to send another dollar to a charity that they chose. Instead, they said, here's $20, $10, real money that I'm going to get to give to whatever charity I care about. That's pretty cool. And that's something that's actually motivating to get people to go across the board. So I think if somebody, the way we think about it, let's say we're working with a a shoe company, for example, and we have somebody who's looking at, hey, I wanted to buy these shoes. They're $200 shoes. I don't know if I really need another $200 pair of shoes, or a $200 pair of shoes in the first place, but I want them, right? And now you get something that says, hey, if you buy them right now, we're going to give you $30 to give to any charity you want. Okay, it's the nudge I needed to just be like, okay, I'm going to go across the board and say, like, great, I'm going to buy this $200 pair of shoes now. I was just at it. My friend was just bugging me about a charity he's running. I'm going to donate the $30 to that I get
Right.
to his charity. And I'm going to look like a hero there. And I get myself this pair of shoes that I ultimately wanted in the first place. I think that's where people need that little extra nudge. And right now, this donation incentive can be that to turn them over.
So I'm gonna get man, you must have been hanging out in my feeds or something, because I was going through and I keep getting this thing marketing to me. They must know I'm short, because they're like, hey, you can add 4 inches to how tall you are, and I'm like, this may have been relevant 10 years ago. I don't care about that anymore. But I mean, it's just it's funny to use shoes as an example. But
Yeah.
in a lot of cases, I love that. I really do love that. I don't want to lose sight of what you said. So for everyone that's watching, so again, let's just use the example, $100 item. You're basically saying, hey, you know what? You bought this $100 item. We want to give back to you. I like that over there.
Like
Givz,
nice.
we wants to gives it back. We're going to give you $20 to a charity of your choice. That's awesome. And at the same time, it doesn't discount your service. People aren't leading with that thinking, oh man, the quality's not good, because they're still giving you $100. You just give them $20. You just giving them another $20 on top of that, saying, hey, here's $20. Go spend it on whatever charity you want. So I love that. I think that's great.
Yeah. And a big piece of that is, like, really how people are utilizing it in practice is, like, let's say your average order value is $70, right? And you're saying, hey, spend over $100 and we'll give you $10 or $20 back to give to a charity of your choice. So we want to there's a math equation to be had here, which is normally people come to our site and spend $70. If we can get that to normally people come to our site and spend $90, that's
Right.
a huge increase across our site. We'd be willing to donate $10 if we could get that $20 increase on average. We'd be willing to donate $10 on the higher orders for sure. It's a math problem that makes sense for your bottom line, and that's what we see over and over and over again with our clients.
I love that. That's awesome. So for all intents and purposes, and obviously, I mean, I actually do want to talk to you a little bit afterwards too, because I think that there's an opportunity here, of course, on what I do. But so I'll just use myself as an example. I mean, business to business. So we have we'll call it a marketing, inside sales, lead generation marketing. Let's say our average client spends $3,000 a month, and I'm just throwing that number out there, but let's just say the average is spend $3,000 a month. Now, how do you, so like, would I buy into a specific package or program through you to offer something like that? Or how, because I know you said you were also I see how it works with e-com 100%.
Totally.
With B2B, is it something that you guys have built out, or you're kind of testing the waters, or what are you?
We're testing the waters, which provides definitely opportunity, right? Like, we're thinking about how do we price this thing. So we'd love to talk to you about how we should actually price this thing. But for now, what we're thinking about is making it a success-based type of deal. And obviously we would love to have like some sort of small setup fee or SaaS fee type of deal. But initially we'll waive all of that and ultimately have, a success-based fee. So somewhere where you're giving money to somebody to give to a charity of their choice, they elect to choose it. So, we charge 10% of the donation. So if somebody says, if you're giving somebody $10, we'll charge you $11 for that. And so that's basically it. And so it can be very streamlined on that side of things with no setup fee or SaaS fee there. It's just a function of, okay, only when people sign up for your service do you actually pay for the donation or pay for us. And that's the way it would work. So let's say people are spending $3,000 on average. You say, hey, if you sign up now, and you're talking to somebody in particular and you feel like you need to get them over the hump, and you're like, hey, sign up in the next week and we'll give you $100 to give to any charity that you want. They say, okay. You send them a $100 link courtesy of our API. They click it. They see what charities you guys care about. So you'll actually get to feature charities that you care about. And then they can like donate to one of those, or they can use the search bar and donate to something that's really important to them. you'll actually learn what they care about because you'll see what they actually choose. And then you'll pay $110 for that. And that's it. And it's really that simple, right? And so that's one way to do it. The other way, when thinking about your business, is this could be an upsell package for your business, right? Where you could actually say to people, hey, as we're trying to get leads for you, et cetera, you could either give people $5 if they take a meeting to give people $5 to give to a charity. If they take a meeting, you could give people, if they actually convert for your client, hit them with donation incentives if they convert on the other end. We're there too. So we can think about packages that way.
I love that. So all proceeds go to the human fund. And have you seen Seinfeld?
I have.
Yeah, I think that's hilarious. But I mean,
yes.
the fact that which brings me to a very important question. So I'm assuming all these charities that you guys have, they're vetted, they're legitimate.
Yeah,
Perfect.
501c3s in
Awesome.
good standing with the IRS, and actually enrolled in the PayPal Giving Fund as well right now. So that is exactly how it works. So there's 175,000 different charities that you can choose from.
Jeez, I didn't even know there were that many. That's crazy.
Oh, there's over 1 million in the US. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So I don't know if you could share this. I'm just curious. Which one's the most popular? Is there one that's a real popular one that you see a lot of?
There's a lot of most popular ones. We're coming off of Pride Month right now. So Pride Month charities, Trevor Project, Zebra Coalition. There's a lot of talk right now around Ukrainian humanitarian crisis charities. Yeah. So Direct Relief, International Rescue, IRC, a bunch of, UNICEF, et cetera, are always there. One that's always in the mix is St. Jude's Children's Hospital. People that tugs at the heartstrings, I think, and just a really, really top-notch organization. And we also check all of the charity watchdogs, if you will. So there's a GuideStar, Charity Navigator, Charity Watch. All of those places do a great job of ranking charities, making sure that the money's going to the projects that they're actually talking about as much as possible, and make sure that they do a good job.
That's amazing. That's really great. And it's a very noble, but also very highly leveraged, highly utilized, and it's something that you're fighting against you're going against someone's not going against, you're supporting their desire to give more, to give back, to do more, to basically utilize whatever you're already investing in and say, okay, well, we also support this charity. And tell me a little bit, if you would, I mean, how does this help people with brand reputation? I mean, obviously, I'm assuming you guys have thought about building brands and things like that. How does that help with someone's brand reputation if they have something like this? Like, do you think that harms them? Is it good? Is it?
No, I don't think we've seen. So we've only seen now, launched in August of last year, working with 85 different brands now, and actually 91 if you count the folks that aren't even on like the e-com side of things. Mm-hmm. So we're seeing early days, but like 10, 11 months of data show that lifetime, when somebody actually donates and chooses a cause that they care about, when they make a qualifying purchase and choose a cause that they care about, lifetime value is 200% higher. That means that they're coming back and buying 3x what somebody else is buying, right? Like that's basically what, or that's what it's saying here, and it's pretty wild. So folks are converting more in the first place, and then those people that are converting are now coming back and shopping and feeling good about the brand more and more. And we're building more and more capabilities to be able to say, hey, this person donated to Oceana. This person donated to St. Jude's and cares about children. This person, donated to their local animal shelter and really is passionate about animals, right? And so you'll be able to target those people differently with different messaging going forward when you say, hey, now if you spend $200 on our site, we're going to give you another $20 to give to a charity of your choice. And we know that you care about animals, so we're going to show you animals in that messaging.
Mind is blown. Sorry. That's pretty awesome because now I'm thinking about different applications, different use cases, different things you could do with this. And I'm looking at this from the standpoint of, so I'll give you a great example. I just started up as a solar provider.
Mm,
So, and one of the biggest things with solar is there's a lot of misconceptions, a lot of things that people don't really know or quite understand. And there's a lot of people out there that just they 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 see it and they're like, it doesn't make sense, or I'm not going to live here for the rest of my life, whatever the case may be. But in a lot of cases, and as crazy as this to sound, someone will get their electric bill, which I actually just so happen to have an electric bill right next to me, and they'll get their bill and they'll be like, "Oh, wow, man, how much do I pay per hour? Wow, that's a lot per kilowatt hour."
right.
Well, but they don't realize that if they just got on a telephone call with one of our people, we could literally say, "Hey, this is a fixed rate. This is what you pay. Pay this for the rest of the life, regardless of what the cost to borrow the energy is. This is what you pay. This is how it works." And then I'm going to share with you, Andrew, where my aha moment came in. And this is going to be an aha moment for a lot of people, I believe, that are watching. They need an incentive to get on the call. In a lot of cases. Why? Because it's stranger danger. I don't know you. You're going to sell me something. Oh, no, he's
Mm.
going to push me. He's going to push me into buying something. That terrible Andrew Forman. He's going to push me into buying some stuff. I don't want to buy anything. I don't know him. Okay. Okay. I get it. Listen, after you get off the call, we're going to give you $10 to give to a charity of your choice. All as a thank you for being fiscally responsible and as a thank you for the Go Green Energy Initiative, whatever the case may be. How many people are going to jump on a call?
Yep.
I would imagine that it's going to grow exponentially because you're giving them something. You're giving them an incentive. And what, $10 is not going to break. I mean,
No.
look, it's not going to break a person's bank. Okay, so you get 10 meetings, and out of those 10 meetings, if you convert one of them, you paid for it 100 times over.
Totally.
Should be a sales rep for what you guys have. That's pretty awesome. I
Perfect.
really, really is awesome. I see huge value in that. So, I mean, I guess, Andrew, what are some things that I didn't ask you, or some things that maybe you'd want our viewers to know about? And obviously, of course, for everyone that's watching, Givz.com, which let's go before we go into what I didn't ask you. How'd you get Givz.com?
Yeah,
Four
so I
letter
looked.
word.
So we named the company Givz. I looked up Givz.com, saw that it was a park domain, and so that meant that somebody had the domain rights but wasn't using the website. And so I looked it up on the Whois database, found an email, found a phone number, called, no answer, emailed, no answer. I emailed her it ended up being a woman named Elizabeth who lived in Canada who had this website, and I emailed her 6 months, once a month for 6 months straight. I finally got an email back that said, "What's your best offer?" in all caps. That was it.
Wow.
4-letter domains, and like how much should they cost, and like prices were wild. Like people were like, "Oh, offer $1,000." Somebody's like, "Offer 25 grand, offer 100 grand," like crazy stuff. And I was like, I don't have any money. I don't know. I'm like in business school, and so I was like, all right, I'm not gonna make a best offer here. I don't know what her deal is. And so we emailed back and forth, and we traded emails like probably every week for another 2 months. And then finally she called me and like one morning, like 8:30 in the morning. I didn't have kids at this point. Like I was still sleeping. And I woke up and she was like, and she starts talking to me. We talked for 2 hours. My now wife was like, who are you talking to? What is happening? And she's asking me all sorts of questions. And the last one was like, where are you spiritually? And I was like, whoa, like where are we going? We've been talking for 2 hours. You're asking me where I am spiritually. Ultimately, she was just trying to make sure that I was a good person and who I said I was, type of deal. And she was a self-described hardened marketer. And she said, listen, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hang up. I'm going to send you the GoDaddy codes. And I will help you with SEO for your business, and like all for free. And I was like, what? Like, this makes no sense. After all this like crazy negotiation, you're going to do it for free? And she's like, yeah, I just wanted to make sure you are who you are. And that's it. And she hung up. An hour later, I had the rights to Givz.com, and that was it.
That's awesome. And if you think about it, most people, yeah, I mean, yeah, most people like, I mean, my first thoughts are like, okay, offer $1,000. I
Yeah.
mean, like, be like, start off, like it's not a laughable number, it's not a huge number, but it's just something to kind of get the conversation going and see if she'd be open to it.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, that's amazing. That is really awesome. And obviously, I mean, with a name like Givz, I mean, obviously you're giving back. So it's
Right. So I had that going for me, and I was like, hey, like, I was like, let me just try to get this woman on the phone. That was like my main goal. And
oh
so
yeah,
we kept like trading emails. Finally, she called me, and that was it. So it was pretty funny. But
that's
I'm
awesome.
forever indebted to Elizabeth for that. I appreciate
That's awesome.
it.
So she did SEO. So talk to me a little bit about, and I know this is not your specialty, but obviously
Sure.
I always, I'm curious now that, so you said SEO, which actually I also have access to an SEO organization as well as a part of my company. But I have yet to utilize it.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, what do you think about SEO? Did you see a good amount of, leads and stuff coming in from that, or was it just
It's
more
it's
branding?
it feels like a science more than I mean, it feels like an art more than
Yeah,
a science, right? Like it's hard
yeah,
to really understand, and everyone's like, oh, it takes 6 to 12 months, and like you can't expect short-term results from something like this. And so
right.
now we're starting to see, like, okay, you type in green marketing into Google. I don't know how many, actually, you can tell how many people are typing in green marketing into Google, and it's starting to rise a little bit. But now all of a sudden, Givz shows up on the first page of Google. When you do that cause marketing, we're starting to show up. And so I'm starting to see the fruits of that labor in terms of people coming directly from Google search words, that we've started to write blog posts targeting those specific keywords and make sure that that we're showing up top of mind when people start to search. The thing is, I wish people were searching for discount replacement more. I think it's on people's mind, but they're not typing that into Google just yet. But like stuff like that, we want to be, first, not only first page, but first result. And this is how you start to peel away from discounts and still drive short-term sales.
I love that. And guys, I mean, that's really how you recession proof your business, because so many folks that are watching, one of the biggest challenges that a lot of people have is that they're constantly on this race to the bottom of just giving away. Oh, hey, no problem. I'll, cut my prices. I'll cut this down. And I'll tell you, I mean, and I will tell you that there are some people that are still clients of mine. I love them dearly. So I kind of like let them do their thing. They're paying like half of what I charge other folks, and I'm looking at this and I'm like, it's like every month it's one of those things where it's like, all right, when am I going to have the conversation? But I mean, I love my clients, and it's like it's hard to go back and say, well, hey, listen, you're paying this, now I'm going to actually you're going to have to pay me 40% more, 50% more. It's a tough conversation to have, and in a lot of cases it ends up in a disconnect. It ends up in, well, you know what,
Yeah,
and then, unless you're absolutely providing massive
right.
value,
It's hard to come back from it.
it is. And I will tell you, the have you ever heard of a guy by the name of Alex Hermosi? If you have not,
No.
okay. Alex Hermosi, I would highly recommend look into Alex Hermosi. He's got a in his business, how I was talking about, instead of giving discounts, uh, just adding more value and doing a little bit more of a
Yes.
value stack. And obviously, again, your value stack is an internal, intrinsic. It's a feeling of giving back and doing more. It's feeding a need that all of us have, a desire to give more, do more, and be better. That in itself is so powerful, because with Alex Ramosi, he just talks about value stacking, which, I mean, again, Alex Ramosi, great stuff. But this is like what he does on a whole different level, because he talks about, well, put different guarantees in your business, put
Sure.
different things in there to, to generate these opportunities. Don't discount your pricing, because yeah, once you discount your pricing, that's it. I
Yeah.
mean,
It's
you
really tough
you
to come back.
yeah, you sell 100 fidget spinners and they're $5.60 each, and now all of a sudden you're like, oh, now we're going up to $9 just because that's what we want to do, and people are gonna be like, well, I'm going to buy my fidget spinner elsewhere. It's the
Yeah.
most archaic thing I could have used as an
I
example.
like it. I like it. No, I mean, but even for your customer, going back to the customer that the customers that are paying half now, and you want to increase the price 50%. one of the things that so we see this with like subscription brands in general, where they'll like discount the first month and then like they see huge churn in the second month because people just
Right.
don't like paying half and then full. So again, like utilizing discount donation incentives instead, you could say, hey, you're paying three grand a month, but for the first month, instead of paying 1,500 for the first month just to see how it works and then getting 3 grand the next month, you pay 3 grand every single month, pay 3 grand, but the first month we'll give you $1,500 to give to any charity you want. Now you're talking like some serious,
Shoot.
interesting stuff here. And so I wonder if we do an experiment with one of your clients where even if you're just raising the price $300, you want to just like start to inch them up. Say like, hey, we're raising the price $300, but for this first month, since we know we're raising it on you, $300, we're going to give you that $300 back to give to any charity that you want this first month. But then it locks them in for the months going forwards. We can try something like that.
I love that. That's a great idea. So, I mean, so guys, for everyone here that's watching, again, I mean, check out the site. Actually,
Yeah,
pretty seamless site too. Very, very easy to maneuver. You put together a very good site here, and I love the fact that you've got, obviously you do a lot in e-commerce, but I mean, there's so many other opportunities outside of that, especially
totally.
in B2B. It makes complete sense. So,
Yeah,
and
reach out via
yeah,
the chat. We're or somebody else on the team will answer you in the chat if you want to chat with us there, or you could always reach out to me. It's just my first name, Andrew, at Givz.com.
yeah, and guys, I mean, it's transparent, scalable pricing. You get a 30-day free trial. You can change or cancel your plan at any time.
Yep.
I got that directly off your site, but I love that.
Yeah, and it'll be even easier on the B2B side of things, as we're figuring that whole pricing model out.
Awesome. Well, Andrew, anything else you want to add before we wrap things up?
No, this is great. Thanks so much for having me. That's it.
Absolutely. Well, for everyone that's watching, we'll see you same time, same channel next week, and everybody continue to be great, and check out Givz.com if you haven't, so you can give back to your community. Thanks again, Andrew. See ya.
Thanks.